And that does mean that most likely, I mean, Hoodwink should be mid now.
Does look like it, yeah.
And then the Venge landing together with the Brewmaster against the Faces Void Jakiro.
With these side lanes, though, OG, they can pick up like a Lina, just have another scaling core behind all this tankiness. They could go for a Pangolier and just have overwhelming cores that just mess up the fight. You tank up the curse and stuff for your team, so then now you don't have the value of curse into Chrono. And there's so many options for OG because of how robust the first 4 heroes look for them. Alliance is a little bit more skirmishy looking. If you run into a well-positioned Chrono or the Macropie, it could have some issues, but
I want some spell damage. Just like someone that can contribute into the Chrono, because Wyvern can also count this. It's gonna be Ember. I thought it would be. Man, I was hoping for Tinker, but Ember was the one that actually stands out a lot more.
I was so ready to scream if they picked that. I was preparing my lungs to just. Well, maybe another day.
This is just some overall, just more consistent, and it's like I was mentioning, a bit of lack of disables for Alliance. This is the one that at least for me stood out too. So a very strong scaling tricore that also just jumps into backlines, and versus double saves of Visage and Wyvern, this is where a hero like Ember can thrive.
And for Alliance, we mentioned how kind of skirmishy their draft was. If you ever miss a stun on an elusive hero like Void or Ember, trying to kill the other core after that is going to be so hard. So I think this is a difficult game for Alliance, that if they don't dictate every early move around the brew split and where they want to fight, if OG just scales into the game accordingly, it's going to be difficult for Alliance to actually make the moves and be cleanly killing multiple cores.
A very important question, because every time we see OG play, most of the time, it's Timbersaw is banned out against them.
Yeah.
This time, of course, it went for the Puck ban and together with the Racer ban, but that does mean that OG get their Timbersaw. Has the Morris Timbersaw been addressed?
Never a game that I've seen him get addressed.
He's always able to find ways to play it, yeah.
Even versus like Ursa counter matchups, stuff like that, he just cuts wave and somehow finds his farm. I love OG's draft, honestly. I think it's really tough to play against.
What really well for Alliance to do something here?
Somehow make sure that their supports are protected, because they do have double save versus Chronosphere. I
think just Brewmaster, honestly, it's the new guy on the block. He just needs to get into the middle of all these fights, cycling the correct heroes, vision necessary to position team fight.
Well, Eternal Sadness has work cut out for him. Let's find out what he does here in this first game of the series together with Cinderin and OD Pixel.
Prepare for battle.
Thank you very much, QB. Yes, OG versus Alliance, good to go here in game 1. Cinderin, it's going to be interesting to see, right? Alliance turning up today with a new addition to the roster for the rest of this tour. Let's see how he does. He's going to be turning up on the Brewmaster today. And what do you reckon? Sort of overall draft feelings, and how do you feel is this a good hero to turn up and play your first game on?
It's definitely a challenging entry into the tournament. Not only are you standing in for a team that's not doing well, but you're playing against OG, and you're playing a very technical hero in Brewmaster. Against maybe not the easiest of matchups, right? Like when you do pick a hero early like this, there will be some solutions. The Faceless Void is a pretty annoying matchup for the hero. I would say Ember is actually annoying too, just because you get slight chained. A lot of the times when you get slight chained, you don't really want to ult, because then you're like, maybe ult in the middle of nowhere and you just run away.
It's bad, yeah.
So I definitely think it is going to be tough. And of course, what goes without saying, the Timbersaw, right? Timbersaw against tanky strength heroes is a nightmare matchup, so every time your ult is down, this guy can just solo kill you effectively. So let's hope for Eternal Sadness' sake that he doesn't end up in some situations where he has to lane against Damar, because then he might just, roleplay his nickname in the game. Wouldn't want to see that in his entry, his first appearance. 2 for 2 runes, so often even start here. Apparently we're tipping Aramis over that.
Giving it back to BZM.
Already.
And happy to see this game. Have we again in the mid on the Hoodwink? I believe it was a loss. I mean, of course they've not had a great record, but he has had a game where he was popping off. Him on his Hoodwink, he can have huge impact, and he of course ends up doing insane amounts of damage with this hero.
Yeah, I do think the lane matchup against Ember is pretty good, but later on in the game it is one of the harder matchups, because he can just jump and get on top of you. You don't really have the best defensive tools. You're fully dependent on trees, but Ember can cut those when he jumps in, right? So you need to be very careful as how you handle that. I feel like mid Hoodwink is one of those heroes that's just super fun to watch, because almost no matter what matchups it has, it can pop off if the stars align, but it's very high risk, high reward, right? Which is, you could argue that's the perfect kind of hero for Wii, right? That's how he plays. I would say he's one of the best mid Hoodwinks in the world. I just don't think mid Hoodwink is particularly good in general.
Sure, because it has
So
its fun.
it has its weaknesses, right? And they are at least somewhat covered here by the last pick, Ember. But let's see what he brings to the table. I would love to see Wei play very aggressive against BZM in the lane here, not just let him farm. Like really, bring him regen. Perhaps if he gets some help on the early water runes, maybe he could even find a kill in the mid.
And sort of overall looking at the draft, you see what OG has. They've got 4 heroes that are going to be incredibly mobile, right? The Ember, the Void, the Wind Ranger, they're going to be jumping all over the place. Do you think Alliance has enough lockdown to deal with that amount of heroes running all over the fights?
I think it's my #1 biggest concern with their lineup, actually. I think their lineup has some cool aspects to it with how it comes together around Brew and Jug with the Venge aura. Its ability to take Roche and fight for towers is pretty good. But yeah, the catch is very lacking. You only really have Swap and Curse. I'm not going to count Bushwhack as a catch because it's too contextual. For a game like this, especially like you said, against this type of heroes, it's hard to connect it. So yeah, that will be challenge. But so far so good for the laning stage, at least for Alliance, right? This time they've managed to set up their lanes pretty well. The Jugger should have a pretty good time against Timbersaw to start. Weeha against BZM.
Did not catch you literally.
Weeha's actually in potential trouble here. This is level 2 Flame Guard.
He's got the Fairy Fire and the Water Rune.
I think he's dead. It's ran out.
He's going to be fine. Ango at the ready and the bottle charge is good to go. He's going to be okay. I mean, we saw a nice reaction there from BZM. Weeha did try to set up the Quelling Blade. BZM was able to cut down Weeha's tree.
Rune deny is huge, by the way. That is effectively putting him very far ahead in the lane now on Wei. BZM has no more bottle charges, and Weeha has way currently to work with as far as health goes. Only one tango on BZM, which will be ferried out on the courier on the way, so has to wait for that as well. Yeah.
Weeha knows it. Look at the aggression here, making sure the BZM can't get to this creep wave at all.
I think this is something a lot of players don't do enough, even at very high level. Maybe not at a pro level, but in high level pubs, I think there's a lot to be said about playing in front of the enemy's wave, and not just in the mid lane, but also when you're the offlaner, for example. If you have a dominant laning position, think of it like this: you're effectively just walling off the enemy from attacking creeps at all. And in order for them to go and aggro the creep wave so they can get them to safety, they need to get within the aggro radius. And when they do that, they take harass, right? So if you place yourself like Weeha did on the enemy hill here, it's very powerful. It's the same logic why you consider Necrophos a hard counter to Ember in lane. He does the exact same thing. He just walks in front of the wave. Ember tries to trade with you, you win. He doesn't, you outfarm him. You just constantly out-sustain him with the regen. For Hoodwink, in this case, he can play it like that because he's already ahead on regen. So he's effectively the Necrophos in this scenario right now. So love seeing that out of Wei, that aggressive mindset.
I mean, that's sort of what, you know, that's the position we have at the mid at the moment. Looking at the side lanes and sort of the positions that we've got the creeps meeting, I mean, who's kind of getting away with the better start here on the first 3 minutes on both edges?
I mean, it's pretty even overall. This is about as close as a laning stage can look to begin with. So I guess with the expectations we're going in with, that is good for Alliance, because we are expecting them to be the underdog, and one of their Achilles heels, in my opinion, has been that their laning stage hasn't been up to par with some of the other teams. So the fact that they're holding their own completely fine the first 3 minutes against OG here with some of their favorite heroes is a good start, and that's the kind of thing they need to snowball on. Now, the bad news for Alliance is Amar is going to be a best in this bottom lane now. He's level 3 with 2 in armor. They can never kill this guy with this hero combination. It is literally impossible unless he screws up majorly, which this guy just doesn't do on this hero. So he will be totally free, and that means that Taiga gets to do this. He's going to rotate into mid.
A lovely slight change there from BZM. That'll do it. First blood there between the two of them.
It's a very luxurious aspect of picking Timber off lane when you're not countered in lane. OG take advantage of this all the time when they play Amar on Timber. It frees up their board to do whatever they want, and it's really fun to play 4 like this. You know, the traditional 4 players that used to love roaming have kind of been stifled by the way the patch plays in general, where you really do need to have the laning presence. So whenever you get to run free, it feels like the good old days. Even though I'm sure Taiga's having a blast already just moving around here. We'll protect that water rune. We'll have to take it though. They're triple manning BZM.
Yeah, they've got the Bushwhack control. Alliance, they'll be able to turn up in the numbers and take him down.
Nice rotation there from Alliance to bring 2. They actually needed both supports for that kill, and they're also going to get Wei the top of water. So very good stuff.
And do you like this as well? I feel seen some other mids do this sometimes. So the early null on these non-mid heroes.
I'm not completely sure what to think. Like the mono region is obviously the primary draw here, right? But if you are going this route, perhaps you could also get Earn to perform this function. I'm not completely sure. I haven't looked at it in that much detail. The stats are obviously nice, right? But it's all right. I'm not gonna say it's amazing. I think.
So far, looking at this, yeah, it's Eternal Sadness up top 16 for one at the moment against the 29 and 11. It's very clear that there's not been any ability really to slow down Yuragi. He's having a very free time top.
Yep.
Going to be an incredibly farmed Void off the laning stage with the Aramis return back to the top lane, but seemingly quite difficult for the Venge and the Brew as a combo to really do much that affects Void.
Yeah. It's hard to play against Faceless Void as Brewmaster just because time dilation actually ruins you. The way Brewmaster puts pressure in lane is by casting his Tinder Brew and Thunderclap together, and you get 2 dilation stacks on that, and your hero can't, like, you can never catch up, right? You can just time walk off the clap and then just turn around and fight you with a Jakiro. But it's a very easy lane for OG up there, and now here comes trouble. Nico Baby will be forced to TP back to base by a level 6 Timber as he is level 5 on Jug, so a full level advantage for Amar, which is bound to happen when he gets to play 1v2 and get full levels. So this is... You gotta say, it can come as a surprise, right? How many times have we seen this from Amar? Surely Alliance knew this was going to happen, and they have not picked against it. Okay, Weehaw with some fancy footwork. Yeah, he's...
3 heroes to the mid. Weehaw taken down. Team look to jump forward for Aramis, but the Ice Path not quite catching him. Still with an extra remnant to play with BZM. He wants to keep chasing a bit. And won't have enough to stay on top of Aramis as the mana comes to an end. But indeed, Amar is going to be in his element, and ultimately, what tools do Alliance have to tackle the Timber at any point of this game?
Yes, that is indeed the question on. Nico's dead again. Maybe. Okay, he will barely survive.
Here we go, they might get the kill. Oh no, Amar, he's like, oh, I'm going to turn and look and take you down. Oh my goodness, he's nearly had him. Nico Baby needs to keep running. Timber chain forward. If they hit the ult, they'll get the kill. They do. I'm playing with fire there. But they were able to take him down, and Nico Baby's able to live. But that was a close one, Sin. 1 versus 3.
He got Nico to like 3% HP twice, and he almost got away with murder as well. Without actually murdering anyone, he almost survived with that mid-hero rotation. That's, you know, that's kind of concerning when these are the lengths you have to go to kill that Timber just to let your Jug have a game. So here,
I mean, look at that. We're down to
18 health, I believe. No, it was 7.
7 there.
That is literally 1% health. Nice old hit. You can tell Amar is trying to sidestep that, but he placed it so that even if Amar does turn slightly back, it would still connect. So good job. Again, should be more than fine here. He's going to get cycloned for annoyance, but that is a
yeah, I mean,
that's a Brewmaster held out of the way.
He got the kill on Misha with it.
You got a Jakiro, which is, it's decent. Ideally on Brew, you want the first, either the very first or the second ult, you want it to kill the safe line core so you can take the tower. We'll see if Alliance try to set up a rotation for that at minute 10 when they have siege creep as well. Eternal Sadness is going to live up to his name top lane right now. He is very, very dead. Annihilation. Oh, they actually get to Chrono for it.
Not quite having the ability to keep chasing with the jump order use. Yeah, they want to make sure they get the guarantee.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, that's pretty good.
That was definitely live.
Very, very skillful there.
Dire are scanning.
I mean, to be honest, if there is a hero you're eating pasta on, it's probably Void after you've used Chrono, right? Because that's when you just go and chill in the jungle and auto-attack creeps.
After, it's during. You use your Chrono.
Oh,
you know, well, I could have something to eat now. Nobody's moving, everybody's frozen in position. You know, if you stop time, you've got to get yourself something nice to eat.
Like the classic scenes from LAN when somebody casts Black Hole and Enigma and they stand up and cheer, you know? Cast Chrono and Void stand up and eat pasta in front of the enemy team.
Now, yeah, again, doing that on LAN.
TI BZM. Okay.
He's all right. Amar. Yeah, able to catch the man. I think that was a close TP. We normally get some good replays on those. That probably ran down right to the 0.1. That was close. But he gets him. He gets him just in time before he's out. And
the worst part about this is, in hindsight, it's better to die, right? I think The problem is, even if that TP is successful, I don't know
How close was it? Because it looked like he was about to get away. Or maybe it wasn't close at all and I'm a dummy. We'll see.
This is very close.
It was close.
Radiant's
Went that close,
bottom tower is under attack.
0.3.
Not that interesting. My
Dire's
bad.
top
And
tower
the thing is,
under
it's
attack.
worth considering how, even if you do complete that TP successfully, what did you gain? You TP back to face, which costs you 100 gold. You cannot connect to any lane and get experience. And if nobody in your team wants to be in the bottom lane, strictly speaking, it's actually better to die so you can TP to
Radiant's
lane.
bottom
At least you got the
tower
smoke,
is under
you know.
attack.
Right, so now you paid 150 gold and a cooldown to run to lane, to ward, and not get experience. So, I mean, it's easy to say from our perspective, right? When you're in the moment as a player, you're very tempted to TP, I get it. But unless anyone can take that lane, you should actually just die there, so you can TP back. Stomanen would have been level 5.5 now, if he didn't TP, right? I think, because the tower will still there's still a bit of time on it. He could have maybe got the experience, and if not, he could have got the wave afterwards. So, but anyway,
3k lead at the moment here for OG.
yeah, Mars is
Radiant's
enormous. This is
bottom
very
tower is under
concerning.
attack.
OG starting to take over here. Alliance the jungle. Alliance trying to get the pressure on top, but yeah, Ragi's such a hard catch. Even if Weehart gets a bushwhack, unlikely that even with the burst through the void during that one single stun.
He's going to chrono top Weehart. He's in the oven.
Something nice.
Nice cooked squirrel.
Out of me.
Did you like that, Owen?
I don't know, I can't say I've ever had it.
Yeah, same. Maybe it was a British delicatessen, you know what I mean?
I mean, we have some pretty nasty food, but I don't think we're cooking the squirrels.
Some squirrel haggis.
You know, maybe at one of the fast food places I've been during my time back in the UK without knowing.
That's what they use in Taco Bell.
Well, 4K.
Or Nen.
Tough one. I mean,
Can't say I'm salivating.
I feel like that's going to happen a lot of times. You know, this is the downside, right? Off the mid. If you get caught in a chrono, you're just dead.
Yep.
You got to have some sort of save. They do have save, of course, with Aramis. So if Aramis is around with a good swap, maybe that'll be enough. But they've got to be in position. They've got to be prepared. It's not going to be easy.
12-minute coming up. OG will definitely want to converge on this. So Taiga is rotating in, and they might even bring the Void for just a walk dilation here. No, he's going to stay in the jungle, but this rune is definitely BZ.
Radiant's bottom tower
And it does
is under
spawn there. And now
attack.
Aramis is in huge trouble. Shadow not going to land.
Is under attack.
Albio is still running down though. Off the chains. Aramis is gone.
Subtle
There's even a bounty rune here for BZM. Minute 12, obviously getting both the power rune as well as the bounty. And he has a cleric, so he effectively has full resources right now. And they will find this D ward. So full control in the Radiant jungle now for OG. Oh, Taiga took the bounty. That is very selfish.
It's just rude. Taiga wanted the money, he wanted it quick, he wanted it fast for the team. He wanted to wait around.
Yep.
And he's like, BZM, you want to refill your bottle? You got a random. TB back to base. Fill yourself. And what we got here? Oh, yeah, queuing up the Orchid. So Orchid up here on the Ember Spirit for BZM this game.
Yeah, great against Brew,
Yeah.
great against Wyvern, great against Hoodwink. It allows him to effectively solo kill actually any hero in the enemy team.
I think so, yeah.
He can kill anyone.
If you sort of consider the stats that these heroes have, they're pretty squishy.
Jug is a very frail hero. Doesn't have particularly good base strength or strength gain. It's okay, but he is vulnerable for sure.
Oh, I'll be interested because, yeah, it's going to be able to get it at a pretty decent timing, I feel. I mean, of course, yeah, for Alliance, Nico, baby, he wants to go for the full Mjolnir. Is there any sort of world where you're seeing you'd rather just get the Maelstrom Manta before completing the Mjolnir? Or just the completed Mjolnir rush, just still the way you got to go on in jungle nowadays?
I can't say I'm sure what to do in this situation as a carry. Like, first of all, I'm not, you know, it's not exactly my best role, but it's also just a really tough game for Jug, I think, right? As we talked about, you're playing against all of these elusive heroes. So which path do you take? Do you try to set up your own successes by getting bash so that the heroes are actually going to stay in place in your ult? and then that comes at the expense of stats or overall damage? Or do you go for the full damage, but then you're struggling to find target? I think this is kind of a damn it if you damn it if you don't game for Nico. I just think it's not.
Yeah, it's hard.
The way their lineup wanted to work around Jug has already failed because they would have wanted to combine with Brew to find early mid-game team fights that are successful. With a 6k gold deficit against Timber, that opportunity is not going to arise. So you're kind of settling for plan B, which is hit jungle. Mjolnir is a pretty good efficiency item for Jug in terms of farming if you do want to take that path, so it's not terrible, but yeah, it's hard, man. I don't know what the ideal item build is here. I don't think Mjolnir is bad, though.
That's the Alliance put some pressure in towards top tier 2. See if they're able to find some sort of a fight. Mid lane pushed in as well. Neither side yet to lose their tier 1 mid. We harnessed a mana. Position to protect Eternal Sadness on Nico, baby. This whole area under control from Alliance.
I'm not opposed
Gee, they're not stepping into it. Both teams avoiding one another here for the most part. Mark, Yules, already sort of feeling that he's on that unkillable level here as the Timber this game. It's not going to be hard to do it again. I mean, it's going to be hard to do it again. He ain't dying.
I think it's going to take all 5 heroes, and it's going to take a Bushwhack and avenge them.
Yeah. Even then. Oh, there's Nico, baby, walking back into the jungle. That he was quite safe in before, but this time round, the rest of his team had already left. And it was OG there, waiting, ready with the surprise.
And now Aramis is trying to find... Okay, he might find something here.
And Tiger's going to get a lovely angle with the shackle.
Wow.
Hold back on the groove for now, but the Bushwhack's still there. Weehaw make sure they get the cleanup.
That was actually a very impressive shackle from Tiger. That angle is not easy to find in that moment. Oh, speak of angles.
Weehaw in trouble. But that chain's still going to cut him down. As Weehaw falls, Damanon as well. Trapped in the river, Viragi with a couple of hits will take him out. Eternal Sadness with the ultimate, the split, trying to fight back, but he's just got to run now. There's no further fight to be had here. Doesn't have the damage on his own to be able to deal with any more of OG. He's away. Yeah, very much seeing that the struggles of the hoodwink this game. Now, Weehaw, he'll get in, he'll cast his spells, but if anybody gets on top of him, he's just gone. Another set up a mark. You'll set up here. You step anywhere close to OG, they will have catch. They've got catch, they've got gap control, they've got it all here with this lineup and with the lead that they now have. 8k advantage, OG. 17 minutes in against Alliance. The full Orchid done on BZM. So further catch and control here with that silence that's not going to be nice for any of these heroes to play against. Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of them off far off any sort of answer to being caught by the silence. No sort of dispel available. Tiger, a lovely shackle as he's gone. Eternal Sadness is taken down. I mean, he's hitting them. He's making it look easy here, Tiger on the Wind Ranger. Always finding the angle, close range and at a distance.
Yeah, the game just seems so easy for OG. Every time they have a chrono, they find that 1 or 2 key kills. Every time they have slight chains with a hero connecting, they do that, and they just have... They kind of own 60% of the map for the entire game because of Timber, right? So... Nice try from BZM there, trying to take over the Omni Slash and run it into the river, but Nico Baby was fortunate enough to stay on Dakira. I think he was in jump range on the Ember. Maybe he was slightly outside and actually misplayed it a bit, but... Yeah, they get a Jakiro. It's something. It's a position 5 for a Jug ult.
Nature loves me.
See what they can do here, top. I mean, he won't be afraid to show himself. I don't think he feels that he's at any threat, especially when he's got BZM by his side. Again, let's get aggressive, straight in with the silence. They'll look to burst through the Brew. He's out to the side. Cold Embrace will get a bit of attention. He's in a bit of to the side, but he's able to get the ult off Eternal Sadness. The Brass turns with the control with the Bushwhack. He's locked down BZM. They just have a chance of looking down as far as well. No tip once, and no availability for any backup to come in to help Amar out. They've got the control, they have the damage. maybe thinking they're a bit safer there than they were, and they weren't quite able to take down Eternal Sadness in time. Clutch save there, the quarter brace, giving that opportunity to get the split off and turn that move around.
I think they might have also expected that they were going to kill the Brew there with the Soul Burn, but he blocked 120 of the damage with his Raindrop and got that Cold Embrace off and got a little bit of heal just in time. So nice counterplay from Alliance. They've effectively used all their spells now, though.
Great spot. Yes, Nico Baby at the Chrono. That's going to be able to give Nico Baby a chance maybe in this fight. Aramis will die. Same to be set for Eternal Sadness. They could try and chase some more here, OG. Quick time, watch the side to heal him from the BZM, he's in, and straight onto Nico Baby. The Orchid's there. Nico Baby trying to stand his ground. He's got the pushback coming out for Weehar to try and hold them back. But Nico Baby goes down. Weehar and Stamanen having to run. But they're ready to dive this. They are. The I5 catches onto Weehar. The bashes as well from Yuragi's follow-up. It's 4 dead on Alliance. They may have been able to make that nice smooth top lane, but when things came over towards the pit, OG ready to slam them back down. Kai's now.
Radiant's top tower
on
is under
Amar.
attack.
Back to the pit, OG. Ready to finish this one off. Still with 2 heroes dead on Alliance. We'll just see any sort of attempt to contest this. We'll see it once again to start. Good attempt with the squad to try and keep the fight going in their favor. But they just didn't have any sort of moves to fight back, and hanging around as they did. OG, they were more than ready to chase them down one by one.
It's a nice play call from OG as well, right? It's a 3v5. Maybe some teams don't take that there, but with those cooldowns, Alliance, they effectively are posing no threat at all for the Void. Well, yeah, basically the Void, because he's the only guy who has to go in. Force can stay far back and just play off him, and he finds the 2-man Chrono, and the fight just plays itself. So
I like this as well for BZM. He's having a bit of fun. He's going for the Orchid Blink build, so he can just get in with the Blink silence, and yeah, he's going to have all the mobility in the world. And just having that instant silence, as we've said, against the Alliance heroes and the items that they have or don't have at the moment, it's incredibly effective. Blink, Orchid, Ember online.
Yep, looks like Nico Baby is working on a man, so I was wondering if that was where he was going to go against this Orchid to try to protect himself as well, so he could push better. And he will do that now after that Mjolnir, but pretty far away, still 2k to go. And the map is just small, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, but this Timbersaw is... Amar is 3-2-1. The amount of indirect damage he has done in this game, not killing any heroes basically, is like he has totally just dominated the game with this scoreline. You know, he's just mega out farming everyone, controlling the map. All right, that's a very challenge to Mana.
Alliance. We have Nico keeping back to the trees. Have an attempt from Yuragi. Yuragi's going to trap it. He's got the corner good to go. He's going to be able to catch this through. As well as catching Eternal Sadness during the Brew split. So the back off now, expecting the buybacks. Yuragi going to be fighting on the side. The pushbacks there controls the turn, but Tiger's able to jump in, block the ultimate hit. They will lose Misha. He gets caught by the Winter's Curse. They also lose Tiger. The stun flies out. Summons comes out over towards the wide, but the Cold Embrace is off in time. Comes to an end. Yuragi wants to back in. He's ready to play aggressive with 3 minutes left on the Aegis. See the split good to go again here. Eternal Sadness is going to turn his attention over towards Amar. Send him up in the air. See if they can maybe still put the test onto Amar. They've got to pull out Magic Mist. Brickback as well. See if Amar can fight his way out of this one. Get brought down. Timber change the side. They won't be able to keep chasing. Amar's going to be able to reset fight. BZM still happy to keep focused. Life change onto Weehar and Eternal Sadness, but he won't dive for more. OG have forced out 2 buybacks there from Alliance.
Yeah, Amar's tanky. Did you know? Alliance did a pretty good job there. I think Stomanen's curse would have been better used on a core instead of Kiro, but maybe that was just... He didn't have the luxury, perhaps, of targeting another one there. But there were a couple of low HP heroes around that Void, and maybe you could have killed off... I think, was the Ember on top as well, if I'm not mistaken? Perhaps there's a kill there.
They were very
clustered, so... Yeah. But sometimes you just, you get what you can. But yeah, you need more than this as Alliance. Even though that fight you kill both supports, you're not really gaining in ground and you're not killing carries or any cores in OG. So They just keep the ball rolling, keep playing fast, and every time you have your cooldowns as Alliance, they will be able to just run at you. If you don't, like, I think right now OG could technically just run wherever they want on the map as long as they're together because there's no bruise split. That's the one saving grace for Alliance a lot of the time, is that Eternal Sadness can at least provide the control in the fight to keep the heroes alive. But when that's down, there's just no team fight.
Alright,
That's an only flash.
the ult, that will do the job.
Good curse.
The win run was off, so Tiger not really taking much damage over the teammates. And Spash is coming through at the last moment, and that will set up Tiger for death. Tiger goes down. Gonna status him with a split. Focus Shiraki. Still a minute left on the Aegis. Sharpshooter for this tree, but it's not going to get the connection. He's dying through the split here. Eternal Sadness, he's trying to run, but they're punching him down through it. It'll come to an end. He will get to live a little bit longer, but still goes down as the silence catches him. And OG even throwing out the tips his way.
I wonder if he's been toxic to them in pubs. He's the only player they're tipping. He's the new guy. Like, come on, guys, you know? They're just stacking tips on him. In a situation like that, you obviously have to run away your Storm Panther, right? You have Axe as well, so you can just choose. But, yeah.
Oh yeah, look at this as well. Amar, he's having fun too. You talked about being tanky. He's got a full heart as well now, so we'll see his HP once he gets that coming up. 4k HP on this Timbersaw, 25 minutes here.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck killing that guy with any less than 4 heroes
Radiant's
now
top tower is under attack.
on Alliance. If he has the reactive armor stacks running, he might even survive 4, to be honest. This is, beastly.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And despite that, he's still tied for #1 net worth, which is honestly almost the most impressive thing about this. Is that Uragi has the same net worth in this game. There's 310 seals on the Timber, but Uragi has a lot of kills. He's got 7 kills, 7 assists. We'll get the objective gold here for the tower as well. And I guess that'll be the real thriller in game, if I'm honest. It's who ends on top net worth.
I think it's gonna sort of...
he's making a case for himself. Amar is catching up.
I mean, it's gonna be more who ends with the coolest looking build. I mean, I think Amar queuing up Manta Daedalus.
Oh, I like that for no reason.
Miss. I mean, I think OG's probably down for a bit of diving at this point. Uragi will happily walk in and take that kill. Should be a dead meat. We'll cost the man in his life. I feel like poor old Misha. They're back out from this game. They're not only Flash is getting cut. They're going for Misha every time, Alliance.
Tower is under attack.
It must be nice playing 5 and taking every big ult, and your teammates are just like...
I mean, of course, Misha doesn't mind. Everything's been thrown his way this game.
Hey, he's taking... What has he taken so far? 2 solo Omni Slashes, 2 or 3 curses. Hey, his teammates are just getting to do whatever they want. I don't think we're surviving this. Maybe.
Destroyed him. The honest, really decent, but not decent enough. The jump outs there from BC. Tiger's able to come in with a shackle, catches onto the 2 of them. He's just ready to keep fighting inside the base of Alliance. I don't think they'll be pushing him away anytime soon. As he's diving in, the smiles are coming out from OG.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Wait.
Oh my god, that's hysterical. He's literally just attacking him under the 2 towers, just standing there. Oh my god.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, well. What can you do about that? Not very much.
Well, it's been a tough game 1 for Alliance. Check it. Which was expected.
Yeah.
It was expected. Oh, Uragi, I mean, he has got a Chronosphere. So he's ready to use that when he feels that he wants to.
He's trying to bait him to Chronos so he can get swapped out there, but you're easy call out for that.
Let's see what Alliance has got. You're going to have the full 5-man up to Uragi, still sort of spinning around with the Chronosphere.
He might do it now. Amar is zoning off the Ven, so this seems like a setup play for the Chrono.
Easy out. She's going to jump in, jump out. Got the catch on to Nico, baby. He'll be able to get the Blade Fury off in time. Eternal Sadness looking to charge him with Primal Split, push them back. Get them off in the air. Snacking starts to slip through the rulings. With the catch on the BZM, the Sharpshooter's going to get blocked, and Weehar will fall. Did a curse get dropped down to Uragi, but nowhere near enough for damage from his teammates, so it's going to threaten him. Uragi's good to go.
Radiant's middle barracks
OG will resume business, take down the mid-melee racks, and keep Alliance forced back to the fountain. one. Aramis
Radiant's middle
Is there.
tower
Baby
is under attack.
Oh, I was sure he was going to Chrono the Fountain there. All right. So I think something really impressive about OG this game is how observant they are for the hoodwink. They are so quick to cut the tree with Timber Saw or with one of their quelling blades on Ember and Void. They've just
Dire's
covered each
bottom
other really well
tower is
earlier
under
on.
attack.
Oh, time for the fountain dive, I think.
Radiant's middle tower is
There
under
we go.
attack.
There we go. You're on. Hands off the keyboard. Nico, baby. That's the Lancer. And corner brace will stay.
Is under attack.
OG, you know, look to you hit the tier 4s every now and then between the diving.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
They're down to actually put an end to this game, but they're also down to have a bit of fun with.
Has fallen.
And keep it just Nico baby, trying to get out of chase him, but the Man's Star still on cooldown. He gets burst through the cold embrace. That won't save him. Ancient's exposed. CPCN does die. He was able to kill him off, but he's instantly back in with the buyback. Uragi dance rolling out of the fountain. Finally, Nico becomes up. Uragi again. They're ready to finally put this one to an end. Focus the action, put it to an end, and that is a GG. OG, they'll turn this game 30 minutes in, 28k lead. A bit of a from this end.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say.